If you take care of your ISA is going to take care of you.
One of the most important things in an ISA I've found is life experience.
Okay.
A lot of times we want to hire ISA who's 19 or 20 years old and maybe very mature, but it's really hard to empathize with somebody who just got a divorce or somebody who just lost their job or their business shut down because of COVID or whatever, right? It's really hard to empathize with that when you have no point of reference. Because then it sounds fake because it's not real. There's some that can do it, but very, very few. So, it seems like a lot of the ISAs that we hired over many years were, more mid-range. I mean, they were at least in their 30s and oftentimes into their 50s. Yeah. Had a lot of life experience. They could say, you know what? I see where you're coming from on that. I had a similar experience to that. You don't got to get too personal, but be able to pull the empathy is really important. And so I encourage people when they're hiring in those roles to look for people that have some good amount of life experience.
Look for the 4 C's. They have to be compassionate. They have to be good communicators. They have to be consistent. And then the icing on the cake, if they're competitive, that's even good as well, because they want to get in there and get that listing. But they don't need to have the 4th, but if they do, that could really kind of be helpful. But the 4 C's, I think, make a good ISA.
Well, part of that is how we compensate them too. You compensate the behavior. And so if you compensate the competitiveness, then competitiveness will come out.
You believe in the 3-tier model: hourly, and then a bonus for when you schedule the appointment, and then maybe a bonus as well when they close.
See, depending on states and rules in individual states, right? What you can and can't do, how you bonus. We can't have people starving to death. People need to make enough money that they're actually going to be around for a while. One of the things that was, consistent was a term you used earlier, and consistency in real estate. Let's face it. How long does it take for a buyer appointment or even a listing appointment to convert? From our database that we have in House Select Homes, where we had 90,000 people in it, we queried that database, and it was 300 days from the time somebody would come to the database, log in on, register on a forced registration to where they would buy was 300 days. A listing lead was actually 330 days.
Wow.
Because people think about it a lot, right? They come and they look information, but we think it's going to happen right away. That's why we love expires and FISBO, so they've already made up that mind. But how long were they thinking about it before they did it?
Exactly.
It's a long time. So that consistency, somebody who's going to be there over a long term is really, really important.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to have any consistency and build a relationship with these people if you're changing ISAs every 30 or 60 days? I think people are going to be there a long time. So I'm going to have to pay them a livable wage, at least for the first 90 to 120 days, so they can start to get some stuff in the pipeline, and then I can start to bonus that out from there, for the appointments that are set and kept, what we call qualified appointments. It's not good enough to set an appointment. People got to show up for the appointment, and then be able to have them enjoying a success on that competitive piece by having an additional bonus if possible closing as well. I want to keep them there for a while. Too many times, agents will hire ISA, and then after 60 days, they just want to get rid of them because they don't have any appointments. You haven't had any appointments in 3 months or 6 months. Now you're going to get mad at this person, right?
Right, I know.
You're not even an agent. You gotta have the right people that you feel confident in, but it takes some time. And so you gotta pay them wage that's commensurate with your area, and it is different in different areas.
Because everyone's always looking for someone to do the calling for them, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you've tried and you can't make the calls yourself and you want to delegate that to somebody else, I think that's okay. But somebody needs to be making the calls. Somebody.
I think you need to have some level of proficiency on it, so you know how to monitor and coach this person as well, going forward. Hard to keep somebody accountable to something that you're not able to do. Different if you don't want to do it anymore, but if you're unable to do it, it's really hard to keep them accountable over time.
Right. And you need to keep the ISA invested with the team, with what's going on. They need to know about all deals. The more the ISA knows and they can tell people about what's going on, the more that's going to help your organization. So.
I really like the term coordinator, especially if you have one over ISA, just because it just opens that collaboration piece up to it. It's not enough to put them in a room here to make phone calls and never see them. We need to have that communication. If you're working virtually, that's fine. You bring in, have Zoom meetings. You sit down as part of the huddle, on a daily basis and understand, what deals are coming through, what's closing, where do we need help, what's coming up. Being a part of that team, it also breaks down the barrier between who's this person over here setting appointments for me. I don't like those appointments.
Don't put baby in the corner. Don't put your ISA in the corner. It's the same thing. I'm telling you, I know what that's like. They have to be integrated. They can't sell you if they're not in contact with you and they don't know what's going on. The more they know about what's happening on the team and your achievements, the more they can broadcast that to everybody.
Mhm.
So they have to be integrated, and they're a very important part of the operation. If you take care of your ISA is going to take care of you. And if you don't, then you're going to get that revolving door.
Part of the experiential learning also, and one of the reasons why we try to get them involved and why we used to run our training programs, we got to listen into other people and listen to their calls, was because one of the best ways to learn real estate is to be around it and to hear it. And if you're not integrated in it, your level of knowledge is going to take so much longer to grow, which means it's going to take you that much longer to be proficient. So I want to get them in and around some conversations, whether it's you have a call night with your team and you have an ISA that's going to be part of that. I mean, they got to hear what other people are saying too. It helps speed the growth overall.
Right. They're going to soak it up because they're in the environment. It's okay if you're virtual, but just make sure that they're integrated properly.